It was just after midnight when a nervous teen knocked on a biker club door, holding his little sister close. The Iron Lanterns expected trouble, not the fear in his voice when he whispered, "Can you hide her for tonight?" This is a story about protection, unexpected family, and one night that changed everything. Subscribe for stories like this here. The Iron Lantern's garage sat on the edge of town, wedged between a closed laundromat and a cracked asphalt lot where weeds clawed through the concrete. Most drivers passed by without slowing. Inside, the air smelled of oil, grease, and decades of hard work. 3 bikers were elbow-deep in a 1972 shovelhead rebuild, their hands stained dark with motor oil. Ryan, broad and solid, wiped his hands on a rag that had seen better days. Jinx, leaner and younger, glanced toward the back door, frown etched across his face. Copper, the oldest, leaned against the workbench, nodding toward the faint knock outside. The garage felt like a fortress. High ceilings, walls lined with tools, shelves crowded with parts. The room hummed with tension, engines waiting to roar, and the quiet certainty that anyone who entered had better have a good reason. Most nights were quiet. Tonight, though, the knock had a different weight, the kind that makes hardened men pause. Ryan straightened and walked toward the door, fingers brushing the metal frame. One cautious push revealed a teen, hoodie torn, dirt on his cheek, eyes too old for his face. Behind him, barely visible in the dim alley, was a little girl clutching a comic book like it was the only thing keeping her safe. "Help you?" Ryan asked, gravel in his voice. I don't need anything," the boy said, voice cracking slightly. The girl shifted behind him. Ryan's eyes swept over her. 10 years old, mismatched socks, jacket too thin for October, hair unkempt. A smudge marked her chin. "What are you asking for?" Ryan's tone was cautious but soft. "One night," the boy whispered. "Just let her sleep somewhere safe. I'll stay outside. I'll leave in the morning." Jinx stepped closer, arms crossed. "Where are your parents?" The boy's jaw hardened. "Gone." Copper studied both children silently, reading their fear and desperation. "What's your name?" he asked finally. "Pete." "And her?" "Victoria." Something passed between Copper and Ryan, unspoken but clear. Years of riding together, surviving together, knowing who could be trusted. Ryan opened the door wider. "Get inside." Pete hesitated, hand tightening on Victoria's shoulder, protective instinct unyielding. "Just her," Ryan said firmly. "I said get inside." He didn't need to repeat himself. The children stepped through the threshold, and the heavy metallic click of the door felt like a first promise of safety. The garage felt different now, more spacious, more alive. High ceilings, bikes in mid-repair, a wall of tools meticulously arranged. Victoria's eyes widened as she took it all in. Pete remained tense, scanning every exit, every shadow, every window. Copper disappeared into the office and returned with a cot, folding it open near a shelf of engine parts. Jinx grabbed a fleece blanket from storage, smelling faintly of motor oil but clean and warm. "Sit," Copper told Victoria, gesturing to the cot. She looked at Pete, who nodded silently. Jinx returned with a mug of chocolate milk heated on a hot plate, offering it without a word. Victoria's fingers curled around the warmth. "Thank you," she whispered. Pete stayed alert beside her, muscles coiled like a spring. His eyes flicked constantly to the door, calculating exits, weighing risks. Ryan studied him, recognized the hypervigilance, the protective instinct that refused to yield. "Kid, when's the last time you slept?" "I'm fine," Pete said. "That's not what I asked." Silence followed. The room was quiet but alive, filled with unspoken promises. Jinx crouched next to Victoria. "You like that book?" He nodded toward her Captain Underpants comic. She nodded. "3 times already," she whispered. "We'll find you a new one tomorrow," Jinx said. Victoria glanced at Pete uncertainly. He softened slightly. Permission granted. Minutes stretched. Copper sat nearby, quiet but present. Jinx leaned against the workbench, arms crossed but relaxed. Ryan stood guard by the door. Hours passed. Victoria's eyelids drooped until she finally fell asleep, her comic book beside her, the mug empty on the floor. Pete didn't move. He pulled a stool close to the cot, elbows on his knees, watching Victoria breathe. Every shadow, every sound, every noise outside the garage had his attention. Ryan stepped forward after an hour, hand landing gently on Pete's shoulder. "You need to sleep." "I'm good. Someone has to watch the door." Ryan studied him. "I'll take first watch. You close your eyes for 2 hours. Deal?" Pete searched for a lie, a trap, and found none. "Okay," he whispered. He rested on the concrete floor beside the cot, still within arm's reach. Sleep dragged him under despite the tension in his muscles. Copper and Jinx exchanged looks. They'd seen kids in danger before, but something about this situation hit differently. Pete's sacrifice, his unwavering focus, and the weight of responsibility on shoulders too young, it resonated. Morning arrived with engines revving in the distance and the sharp scent of fresh coffee. Pete woke disoriented, instinctively checking Victoria's side. She was still asleep, peaceful. Sunlight filtered through high windows, casting dusty beams across the garage. Kappa poured a cup of coffee, glancing at Pete. Sleep okay? Pete nodded, back aching. Yeah, thanks. The small kindness of towels, warm water, and the mundane comfort of morning felt unreal after the tension of the night. For the first time in weeks, Pete realized he might finally be able to breathe. Pete watched as Gloria, a woman with silver hair and kind eyes, braided Victoria's hair. The little girl seemed younger, more fragile, almost glowing with relief. Pete stayed close but quiet. Jinx approached him quietly. Can I talk to you for a second? Pete's guard rose. About what? Just want to make sure she's okay. That you're both okay. They walked to the side of the garage. Jinx leaned against a tool chest, voice calm. I've worked trauma for 6 years before the club. You see enough kids, you learn what to look for. Pete's stomach tightened. Someone's been hurting her, Jinx continued. Pete could lie, could run, could say nothing. Instead, he said softly, it's not me. I know. It's the guy your mom left you with. He wasn't a stepdad, just someone who moved in and paid the bills. CPS didn't care because money was on time. Pete's hands curled into fists. Every toy put away. Silent after 8. Touched the fridge without permission once. I got in trouble for it. Victoria forgot her stuffed animal once. He grabbed her, shook her. I got between them. Jinx nodded without judgment. I just need to check her. Make sure nothing's broken or infected. I won't hurt her. Pete studied him, searching for a trap. Finding none, he nodded. Okay. When Gloria brought Victoria back, her face clean and hair braided, she seemed lighter somehow. Jinx checked her arms and back, bruises fading but some still dark. You're a tough kid. These are healing well. You're going to be fine. Gloria distracted Victoria with the promise of a new book. Pete exhaled slightly, relief mixing with exhaustion. Copper made a call. Pete watched as Ryan, Diesel, and Jinx listened silently. Plans were made quietly. No loud declarations, no fanfare, just action. The trailers are being inspected, Copper said. CPS is on it. Temporary safety measures will be put in place. Melanie's coming tomorrow. Pete's chest felt lighter but still tight. He'd done the right thing, but running out of options didn't feel like victory yet. The Iron Lanterns weren't heroes seeking glory. They acted because it was right. They had seen danger, pain, and fear, and had chosen to shield what they could. Pete realized something profound. He wasn't alone anymore. The garage began to feel like a home. Bikes, tools, and the smell of motor oil mingled with warmth, safety, and laughter. Victoria, seated on the cot with a new book, finally smiled openly. Pete's vigilance softened slightly. The club members' quiet presence became a shield, and for the first time in a long while, he felt hope. CPS arrived. Sandra, younger than expected, tired eyes still kind, entered the garage. She examined the cot, the shelves, the safety measures. She didn't look at the club as a problem. She saw potential. Victoria showed her drawing of a dragon. Pete stayed close but observed silently. Sandra smiled. She's safe here, happier than most kids I see in state facilities. Emergency placement approved for 90 days. Gloria as primary guardian. The Iron Lanterns providing support. Dean flagged. Investigation underway. Pete's chest unclenched slightly. For the first time, he realized he could breathe without scanning the streets for danger. Victoria was safe. He was safe. The club quietly celebrated. Burgers, soda, chips. Laughter from Victoria, learning to play cards with Copper, her first real laugh in weeks. The garage lights flickered on at sunset, casting shadows that no longer felt threatening. Ryan found Pete watching the street. You've been watching too long. Not anymore. We've got it now. Pete searched for the catch. None. Relief washed over him. That night, Victoria fell asleep with the dragon book tucked under her pillow. Pete, Gloria, and the club watched over her. Locks, alarms, and vigilance ensured safety. But now, it wasn't just fear that filled the space. It was care, love, and belonging. The Iron Lanterns didn't look to be heroes. They just saw a child in need and chose to act. Pete gave everything to protect his sister. The club gave them both a place to belong. Victoria's laughter, the mundane routines, the safety of the garage, the gentle guidance of Gloria, it all became their new world. Pete could finally exhale. The fear of the night no longer dominated their lives. Sometimes protection comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes heroes are those who show up quietly, without recognition, and choose to act. The Iron Lanterns didn't wait for thanks. They only acted. Pete had learned something invaluable. You don't have to face danger alone. Strength, courage, and family can come from the least likely sources. He would never forget the night that changed everything. What would you do if someone knocked on your door asking for help? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to embrace the journey for more stories about resilience, courage, and unexpected family.